Welcome to SimWorld, everybody, and your first ever post-up show to kick off your first ever SimWorld season. I am Elava, and I am joined here by Rick Blaze and Yells. Rick and Yells.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. I hope you guys are here too. Let me tell folks a little bit about SimWorld. SimWorld is a virtual basketball universe where you can experience advancing yourself as a virtual user, either a player, a coach, or a GM, and make it all the way from the high school ranks on up to the pros. As a coach, you'll be able to be involved with all kinds of management and strategy. As a player, you'll be able to watch yourself grow, all through a simulated experience, no joystick skills required. As I said, we're getting ready to kick off our first season. Roniel, you want to tell them a little bit about the schedule and rules of SimWorld?
Yeah, man. January 1st, New Year's Day 2022, it all gets started. We start off with the Power of Attorney Tournament, national tournament going on there for all of our stateside teams. We're going to have tournaments going on left and right. They're all going to be independent of one another, culminating at the end of a season where we crown a champion for our national teams. Those games are going to go on at our SimWorld Athletic Regional Centers. And then we have our Houston SimWorld Sports Arena where our final tournament will take place. I don't want to forget about SimWorld Global, which is an extension of SimWorld High School Hoops, and that's where the games will be taking place at our Barcelona Stadium, Oscar Schmidt Tribute Stadium. They'll be playing exhibition games here and there. You'll see them play some exhibition games against some of our stateside teams as well. And then their season will wrap up with a tournament as well, where these two powerhouses, the two winners of these two tournaments, can match up states versus international in what we're calling the Clash of Champions game that'll take place in Las Vegas. You'll get to take a look at McDonald's All-American games, McDonald's All-American Weekend Dunk Contest, three-point contest, and you'll also get to take a look at Basketball Without Borders. So we have a lot in store for you guys, man. Let's get right into it.
Thank you, Roniel. Well, yeah, let's get into it. So let's talk about some of these top high school players out there in the nation. Let's run you through the top four. And number 4 is Mr. D. Woodley. A fashion icon off the court and an absolute explosion waiting to happen on it. Rick Blaze, tell folks a little bit about D. Woodley.
Hey, D. Woodley is the total package. Offensively, he can get it done. A big fella can really play. Now, his name is D. Woodley. His mom named him D. And foreshadowing didn't quite work in basketball because he don't play much of that. But he can score the ball offensively. So Mr. Woodley's a prime-time player on the offensive side of the ball. A little bit on the defensive side, man. We can see big things for him coming in at number 4 in the country.
55-point game, if I can jump in there, 55-point game last season, Mr. Basketball out of the state of Mississippi, McDonald's All-American. Once again, you talked about him being a fashion icon, but on the court, man, he is a trash talker. He has got a lot to say, and he backs it up. Love his game, 5'11", 205, nice build, putting the ball in the bucket from anywhere on the court.
Yeah, D. Woodley can definitely score. Had a 55-point game last season. And the next man up on our list, Mr. Glory Tate, also with a 50-point performance last season. 6'4" wing out of St. Louis, Missouri. Roniel, I know you're a big fan of Glory Tate. Talk a little bit about his game.
Glorious. I mean, his game is amazing, man. Again, you said 6'4", 210. This is a high school body or a high NBA body and a high school player, and he showcases it night after night. What I really like about him is, as much as he can go out and get his buckets, 52 points he had last year in a game, he can score it from deep, but I like that he defends on the perimeter. He may be pretty, but he damn sure gets dirty. He's out there running through screens. He puts it all on the line, and that's what I really like. He's a great two-way player, in my opinion, and he is what St. Louis is all about.
He definitely is.
Pretty boy Tate get the job done for sure.
Yep, that's right. Our top 2 players are Che King and Jalen Snow. And Rick Blaze, you and I got to see these two go head-to-head for their LA and New York teams in a scrimmage earlier this year. First, let's talk about Che King out of Queens, New York, 6'1" guard. What do you think of his game?
Hey, man, Queens get the money. Che King all about getting the money, man. A throwback type of guard out of New York. I'm telling you, he's not the type, he's not the high flyer. He's not gonna jump 40 feet above the rim, but he's a dominant guard who can put his teammates in the best position possible. He's also a scoring guy, and he's gonna talk that trash. You know, New Yorkers like talking that trash. My man gets the job done. He gets busy on the offensive end.
Yeah, he does. But let's also talk a little bit about Jalen Snow from my neck of the woods out here in Los Angeles, where he, it doesn't really snow much in LA, but snow is on everybody's minds out here right now. Everybody hoping he's going to play for the hometown team, UCLA. The 6'3" guard out of Santa Monica really can do it all. Just lightning fast, incredibly deep shot, scorer, athletic. He is a handful. Ron Yell, tell us a little bit more about Jalen Snow.
Let it snow. The snow step back. That's what it's been affectionately called here. Man, he reminds me a lot of James Harden. He reminds me a lot of Kobe. He reminds me a lot of a bunch of greats. But I'm not going to put that kind of weight on his shoulders. What I will tell you is he can fill it up. 66-point game he had last season. Gatorade Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American, Mr. Basketball California. What other award can you throw at him? I'm not sure. Not going to give you a whole lot on the defensive end, but he's going to give you a bucket and another one night after night.
He definitely is. Well, stick with us. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about the top 4 international players in the SimWorld Global game. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back, and I'm here with Rick Blaze. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some of these top international players in the game, and let's start off with the number 4 man on the list, Boris Kasabov out of Kazan, Russia. 6'4" wing, kind of your classic European Euro-style player in some ways. What do you think of Mr. Kasabov's game from what we've got to see so far, Rick?
Well, excuse me before I get started. Kasabov, I don't want to mess up. I was so nervous I was going to say shish kebab. So I figured I need to just say shish kebab to get that out of my system so I don't say it again. So for Kasabov, man, I like the young fella. Really good talented player. And one thing we really have in common, neither one of us like hummus. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, Kasabov is also an extremely coachable kid. He's somebody that I think that you were going to see playing at the next level over here, just because with his intangibles, got a lot going on for him there. But let's also mention the rest of the players on our top international team. The next 2 both play for the World West Select Squad, coached by Juju Dubois, and number 3 is the big German, David Drafen, 6'10" out of Essen, Germany. He can create his own shot in addition to having a post-up game. 25 point, 11 rebound performance this past season, and also has a post-shimmy fade in his toolkit. What you think about Mr. Drafen?
I like my man. He's 6'10" and he uses his size to his advantage. A lot of guards these days, especially these young players, they have the height, but they don't always play big. You know what I mean? This guy plays big. He plays up to his height. He's a very solid player.
Well, his teammate Julian Marks, also the captain of World West Select, also a really talented player, the number 2 ranked international out of Georgetown, Guyana, a 6'5" wing. And the thing that impresses me about him is he can score in a bunch of different ways. Just jump out of the gym athletic, combined with the fact he can create his own shot and shoot from long range. Really dynamic player, Julian Marks.
Yeah, I like him, and the reason I like him, he's gritty. He's gonna stick his nose in there. Julian Moore, he's not afraid of the challenge. Playing the guard position. He's a taller guard than most of the high school guards at his position, and he's not afraid to battle. You like that. You want to see that especially with these overseas players starting to play with these American guys. You like to see the overseas players go in there and really fight it out. Because on the basketball court, it's all the same language.
Yep. Well, it can be tough, sometimes translating from the international level to the U.S. Canadian high skill level. But our number one player, Marcello Nocione, one thing I will definitely tell you is his off the court game, his media game is definitely top shelf. He is ready for the NBA based upon that. But also a really talented player, kind of a do it all guy out there, really. Has a 3-point shot in his arsenal, put up a 34-point game last season. You got to like a lot about Marcello Nocione and have to expect him to be playing at a high level over here too soon, I think.
Yeah, Nocione is the truth, man. I'm telling you, he does a little bit of everything. And there's one player who knows the game, doesn't have any problem transitioning from wherever you're playing. I don't care if you're playing across the seas. I don't care if you're playing in the backyard. I don't care if you're playing in the gymnasium. He can put a ball in the basket. But he's also unselfish. Does a little bit of everything. Passes the ball. He's a leader on the court. Shoots the free throw. He gets his teammates open. I like his game a lot. It's perfectly suited for the next level.
Yeah.
Nocione is go ahead, Ronnie. I'll take it.
And yeah, I got to take extended look at his game when I was spending a little time in Europe. And the Luka comparison there, people may say that's a stretch, and he does have a way to go. He's only 17 years old, 6'5", 190. He doesn't have the weight on him just yet, but he does have a Luka-esque step back jumper. He does look to play make, as you guys have already mentioned. He can fill it up. We do know that Euro guys over there, they play a balanced game, so you're not going to see any eye-popping statistical performances, but you will see him put all of his skills on display.
Well, Nocione, a long-range shooter, as we mentioned, but he's not one of the next four players we're going to be talking about in the next segment. Come back, and we are going to examine four of the top shooters in the high school class. Which of these will fill it up the most from beyond the arc this season?
Shooters gonna shoot.
All right, now let's talk about some of the sharpshooters in the SimWorld High School game. Kicking it off with Tristan Holmes out of Houston. Tristan, 6'2", has a twin brother 5 inches taller than him, who at one point was a higher ranked player, but Tristan has really come on. Yells, I know you've got a chance to see this kid play a lot. He's a hometown boy for you. Tell us about Tristan Holmes.
Yeah, well, as you said, he's gonna shoot. We look at the graphic up there. Rick got it out there. Shooter's gonna shoot, and that is what he's gonna do. He had a 61-point performance last year, and most of those were coming by way of three. He's a spot up guy. You're not gonna see him be very mobile, put the ball on the floor, but he has time to learn that side of the game and put that in his arsenal. But what he does have is an incredibly quick, pure stroke. You see him shoot from the corners, and we all know how the NBA feels about that. So I do think that he has a bright future ahead of him if he keeps that shooting stroke going.
Yeah, man, my boy, all about that three ball, man. Chicks dig the three ball, and so does he. H-Town represented, man, all day, all night, man. I took him to French's, as a matter of fact, after one of the interviews, and guess what he ordered? 3 pieces of chicken, man. He's all about the three. That is his number 3. You know what I mean? So shout out to Holmes, man. I'm looking forward for a big season for him. The rank is based on the shooters. Now, if you had to ask me who's going to be ranked from 4 to 1 as far as hitting the most threes, I actually got Holmes as my number 1 guy.
Wow.
Surprise.
Wow.
That's who I think
right.
all in now. Holmes, number 1 in 3-pointers made this season.
All right, well, let's review the resume of our next shooter up, and that is Bryson Summers. 5'9" guard out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. This kid can absolutely fill it up, and he is also just a true basketball sponge, just lives and breathes basketball. Littlest man on the court sometimes, but often the biggest player. Tell us a little bit about Bryson, Roniel.
This guy can go get his own bucket. A lot of his threes are coming off the dribble. A lot of people say, those aren't the good shots to take. But for him, he can get that shot off anytime he wants, and he has great range with it. I would say, as far as who's going to knock down the most threes this season, if that's the question, he does play alongside. We mentioned him already, or we will mention Devin Cruz a little later. He has another few stars on his team, so if he's going to get those shot attempts, I'm not sure, but the ball is in his hand most of the time. I like everything he can do. Don't want to leave out the fact that he is a complete player, but when it comes to the three ball, we're going to see a lot of those going up in Philly.
Yes, sir. I agree. My man does a little bit of everything. He's like a mighty mouse, man. He does a little bit of everything on the court, and he can get any shot off on the court, not just a three. And because he plays with Mr. Cruz, I know that backfield is going to be that backcourt is going to be a little bit crowded. He's going to shed of orange as he has supposed to do. I have him ranked at number 4 on my list this season for most threes made.
All right. Well, our third shooter to take a look at is, and this is somebody who, Rick, you and I have gotten to see play a few times in scrimmages, Jeremiah Minor. 5'11" out of Jupiter, Florida, the star of the Miami Stars. And, the thing about Jeremiah is that if they give bonus points for deep shooting, like maybe a 4-pointer from out there, my money would be on Jeremiah. That is what he brings to the table. I mean, just Seth Curry type range at times. Rick, what do you remember best about watching him play in some of these scrimmages?
Well, the first thing I remember when you said where he was from, I said, it all makes sense. He'd be shooting from Jupiter, so it makes sense that he's from Jupiter, Florida. You know what I mean? So my man can just
seems
pull
like
up.
it sometimes.
Yeah, he can just pull up and just wherever he pull up and you just say shoot, he gonna just shoot it. Shooters gonna shoot. He is the epitome of that. Mr. Minor, no relation to Harold out of Miami. So man, shout out to him. I'm looking forward to him do his thing this year. I have him ranked at number, let's say number 2 this year.
Ooh,
most threes made.
All right. Silver medal ranking. Roniel, you got anything to add?
I gladly agree. Let's get on. Let's talk about, we know who we're here to talk about in this category. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring it to our last and in some ways most electric player, maybe the most electric player we're going to talk about all night, who is LeGerald Carroll, a 6'4" wing out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, when you think about LeGerald, you just think explosion. And sometimes that's good when it's on the court, and sometimes when it's off the court, it's a little bit bad. There's been some legal issues. There's been a little bit of immaturity from LeGerald Carroll. But boy, when his game is on, he is just on fire. This kid put up a 62-point performance with 15 made threes, and his coach pulled him midway through the third quarter of one game last season.
What?
That's what he can do. That's what he brings.
That is insane.
Roniel.
Rick.
Yeah.
No, I have questions to ask now. Are you guys pulling someone out when they hit 15 threes in a game?
No, I'm putting him in, tell him shoot till his arm fall off.
Yeah, absolutely. In the words of my man Stephen A, he's gonna shoot till he don't have arms no more, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you do it. I sound like a nice guy, but I can be cold. I leave him in and I bury you. And
now,
LeGerald Carroll can do it.
Now, fellas, I'm glad we all chuck in and laughing and have a good time. But I must say, this is the first time we're gonna be a little bit different in opinion. I personally am not as high on LeGerald as most people are, and I understand why they are. The reason why, because I've seen him play in action in the scrimmage this year, and I saw Mr. Carroll turn to Mr. Casper. He was ghostly. I didn't see him on the court. He was there, but his presence wasn't felt. He kind of has, to me, kind of like a J.R. Smith type game. He's streaky. Some days he can give you 30 easy. Next game he can give you 8. So because of that, I got him ranked as number 3 this year on most three-pointers made.
Oh.
All right. Well, some differing opinions there, but there's not a lot of difference of opinion about who the top bigs are. We're going to take a look at 4 of them when we come back. Stick with us. Hey, it's time to talk about some of the bigs, some of the best big men in the senior class of SimWorld High School Hoops. And let's kick it off by talking about one of my favorite players. I love his game, I love his hair. Von Rushing. 7'1", big man, only 210 pounds, but 7'1" of him, out of Newport News, Virginia. The star, or one of the stars, on a loaded Southeast Select squad. Ron Yell, tell me a little bit about Von Rushing.
First off, he looks like Jackie Moon. Uh, you see the socks and he's rocking the pumps with the afro there. But yeah, man, he is a big guy. I mean, that's what's going to stand out to everyone and jump off the paper. 6'1". He is lean. He's got some weight to put on, just like all high school players do. He's a bit raw offensively in the low post, getting his footwork together, learning those moves. But the man's still 7'1". He has great reach when he extends those arms. It may be even longer. But where he's really going to be felt, his impact's going to be felt the most, is going to be in the rim protecting department. He had an 11 block game earlier or last season, and I'm sure he could have blocked more shots than that. I don't think his coach pulled him out in the third quarter like they did LeGerald. But yeah, I mean, he's an absolute presence on the inside. He hits the boards. I just want to see if he's going to put it together offensively.
Yeah, man. Big fella, big Russian, man. He gets the job done, especially on defense. He's turned down more balls than a virgin on prom night. I'm trying to tell you, he's going to do his job, and he's going to do it well. 7'1" with the wingspan up to 7'9". The boy barely has to jump to even dunk the basketball. With the fro, he's, my cousin Jermaine would say, he about 7'12" with the fro. So I'm excited to see him. He's a great addition to any team, man, and I'm just really excited to see how his game grows for the next level.
Do we see there, Lava? I'm looking at some notes here. He plays acoustic guitar and drums. And I don't know what drum set he's sitting at, but this guy, pretty eclectic, man.
He is. Well, he's got that classic 70s look going. I hope he loves classic 70s smooth tunes like me as well. I hope we have that in common. When I get a chance to talk to him, I'll see if I can get some detail on what he's got on his Spotify.
Do you wanna love me sexy? Jackie Moon.
Well, let's go to the next player on our list, and smaller, heavier, Brian Vaughn, 6'8" and 235, out of Denver, Colorado. The number 6 ranked senior overall. He is a load down low, and some interesting stuff going on with Brian Vaughn. Roniel, I think you've got some background on him, right?
Well, as far as his game on the court, man, I absolutely love this kid. He, like you said, he's a load 6'8", 235, and he's giving it to you in the paint. But it's brawn. It's absolute strength down low. It's not going to be anything pretty. He's going to give you some elbows. He's going to give you some drop steps, and he's going to go to a hook shot which is seldom used by young kids these days. But you're going to see a hook shot repeatedly, and when he's done doing that, he's going to take you outside, and he's going to knock down the 3-ball with range. He reminds me a lot of an earlier Kevin Love, before Kevin Love fell in love with the 3-point line. He can shoot it, but he does not live by it. Absolutely love this kid. He averaged 28 points a game last season. He's feisty on the court. What more can I say? We could talk about his brother, I guess, but I love this kid.
Yes, he does have a twin brother who also plays with him. It's at 6'1", plays guard. But I think the one other thing to say about Brian is he comes from a military family, and he's considered, it's not official yet, but he's considered to be a lock to be at West Point, playing for Army. And if that does come to happen, that is going to be the biggest recruit, biggest or highest ranked recruit at one of the service academies since David Robinson played for Navy. Pretty impressive. But let's go on to the next player on our list, and that is Johnny Baldwin, 6'9", out of East Rutherford, New Jersey. And Rick, I remember you and I watching him, and I was just blown away by this kid's athleticism. Tell the people what you think about Johnny Baldwin.
Yeah, you guys know him as Johnny Baldwin, but I met his mom on several occasions. We call him Johnny Ball Game, because that's what he does. He got a lot of game in the system, man. The boy is cold. The boy is nice, very athletic, goes to the cup. He's kind of raw offensively, but he gets the job done. And as a big man, he knows he's a big man, and he throws his weight and uses his body well.
Yeah, it is all about potential with Johnny, and I think that's why you're seeing schools like Kentucky and North Carolina involved for him, because 17 years old right now, but give this kid a year or two to grow into that 6'9", 220 frame he currently has, and look out. But To move things along to the next big on our list, we have Big Jameson Johnson. Jameson is definitely one of the premier, probably the most dominant big out there in the high school game today in SimWorld. Ron Yell, what do you have on Jameson Johnson?
Incredibly skilled, incredibly skilled with that size. I mean, his skill level is off the charts. He can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot it with some range, with some consistency, but he has no fear from shooting it. And he can get in the post. He still has some work to do. I know we were talking earlier. I was talking to Rick and talking to you. Want to see if he can check in. The real question marks are if he's engaged. We seen him put up some big numbers last season, but we also saw some games where he wasn't engaged and he had 4 and 6 points in the game. Didn't put a foot in the paint. So absolutely a star skill level, but is he fully checked in?
Yeah. And when he is fully checked in, look out. This kid had a 48 point, 17 rebound, 8 block performance when he was turned on. Yeah. And, but you're right, up and down a little bit. So definitely the most potential, but needs to really kind of put together the consistency in the senior year.
Yeah, man, Mr. Jameson, when he's checked in, when he's locked in, he is as smooth as the name of the drink suggests. So it's about him being consistent and staying locked in. Very good potential offensively. Even has moves defense. He kind of reminds me maybe of he has athleticism and kind of moves quick, kind of like a Tyson Chandler with an offensive game. He does need to refine it a little bit more, but he can be that well. Imagine Tyson Chandler with an offensive game. He can be that good if he works on this game. I like his potential.
I am thinking about Tyson Chandler with an offensive game right now, and that is a frightening concept.
Scary.
And I would love to see Jameson Johnson grow into that. But hey, we've just gone over a bunch of the top seniors. Come back, we're going to talk about 3 more seniors who kind of been left out of the big talk, but we've seen things watching these guys in some scrimmages and want to bring them to your attention. And also talk about 3 rising juniors, 3 top players in the junior class in SimWorld High School Hoops. Come on back. All right, welcome back. And 3 other seniors we haven't talked much about so far. Devin Cruz, 6'4" wing out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Rick Blaze, what do you think of Mr. Cruz's game?
Devin Cruz, super nice offensive end and on the defensive end. He gets the job done. People need to look out for him. I think he's going to have a really big year this year.
All right, but Rick, I also you got to tell the people about DJ Childs. We saw DJ Childs go off in one scrimmage this year. He earned a new nickname out of that, so you got to talk about it. Tell folks.
Yeah, man, my main man, DJ Childs, aka Dame Junior Childs, is the truth. You got to guard him anywhere he steps into the building. Once he get out the car, get off the bus, if you get into the stadium, start guarding him there. You see him at the popcorn stand, start guarding him there. If he's coming out the urinal, once he zip up that fly, guard him right there, because that shot is butter anywhere he steps into the arena. That's my guy.
And then our third fringe senior is Cooper Kingy Cross. He's a 6-foot guard out of Annapolis, Maryland, playing for Coach Myron Murray's Washington Stars. Ron Yell, tell us a thing or two about Kingy Cross.
Kingy Cross can do it all. You want him to score, he can do it. You want him to be a playmaker, he's going to get that done. He does defend, and he's just an actual leader, man. I love this guy. I love the pairing with him with Myron Murray. We know Coach Murray likes to play guard play, run that heavy pick and roll, and I think Cooper, ranked number 22, is going to really get an opportunity to showcase what he's all about. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, let's end it by talking about 3 rising juniors, the first of which is Dre Carvel, 6-footer, playing guard out of Chicago, Illinois. Rick, you got anything on Dre Carvel?
Hey, man, what a time to be alive. We're talking about Dre Carvel. A man got his game like the name suggests. I like his game a lot. I like what he does with his team, the way he leads his team. He can be a scorer when he needs to that. He can facilitate when he needs to be there as well. Super, super duper on the rise, man. Woo! Rising like geese, Dre Carvel.
Our second rising junior is Lorenzo Phenom, already rising up to 6'9". But Lorenzo, a pure scorer, has an outside shot. Roniel, a few quick words about Lorenzo Phenom and his game for the Detroit Stars.
Hey, he's got a post game that's out of this world. I don't know where these young kids nowadays are looking for that post game. He's really not going to pound it on the inside like that, but he's gonna take it and back you down, and he's gonna give you a fadeaway, give you a hook. He can do it with a little bit of range. Love his game. Don't know if he can live up to that kind of last name, but he definitely has a skill set to beware of.
Young
And
phenom, rise like yeast.
and finally, our number one junior, also from the state of California, our number one senior, Jalen Snow from California. But Caden Shipp, 6'3" wing out of Fresno. Kid is electric. Kid can really do it all. It's scary just to think he's going to get better and better. A few last words on him, Roniel.
He's the number one. He's the number one junior ranked in our AAU circuit. Man, he can fill it up. He can score at will. Caden Shipp. And he plays defense. Let's not leave that off the boat. 6'3", 200 pounds. If the name Gary Payton rings a bell that can put the ball in the hole, I know that is lofty expectations. But I'm just looking forward and looking back to the good old days of Gary Payton throwing it to Sean Kemp. This is going to be the same type of excitement out in O-Town.
Yeah, man, I agree. Ship can do his thing, man. When I see him play, I feel like I'm at the gas station at Exxon on Pump 3. I tell him, just fill it up. That's exactly what he's going to give for you, man. He's going to fill it up every single night. I like the young man, Caden Shipp. Caden Shipp, rise like yeast, my brother.
Well, you have just heard a handful of these players in the SimWorld High School and Global Universes. We look forward to doing these games, learning more about these guys, telling you more about them, watching them grow. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being part of SimWorld. We're excited to kick things off, and we hope you are too.
Hey, I'm glad to be here, guys. Hey, Mom. Oh, one other thing, guys, before we leave. Hey, I got to give a shout out to everybody across the country and we're global now. So I'm going to do a little French. You know, as they say in French, when it's time to go, I'll see y'all later.
Au revoir, everybody.